Hey flute players, congratulations on being selected to play flute in the 5th grade band this year. We're excited to have you on board. This is a video on how to put the flute together following your first lesson. Sometimes leaving the first lesson, it's easy to forget some of those little tips and tricks that we shared with you. So, first of all, I want to show you how to put it together and then the reminders on how to hold the flute. It's extremely important for an instrument just like this. So, let's start with the body of the flute. It looks like this. It's the biggest and the longest piece there. We're going to take that and then we're going to grab the head joint here, which is the part with the hole in it. Now, you'll see on the body of the flute, the keys make a line like this. What we want to do is when we put the head joint into the body, we want to make sure that the mouth hole there lines up with the other keys. And just easily put that in there, it should slide in. And you don't want to push it in all the way, you want to leave just a little bit out there. So you have that little space, that way you play in tune. If we push it all the way in, then we end up playing a little bit sharp. So you can look down the flute like this to make sure it lines up with those keys on top. So that's how you put together the first piece in there. Now the foot joint, you have the head, the body, and the foot on the flute. The foot joint, we're going to use this bar right here to line up with the edge of this last key. So we're going to just slide this on. Again, don't jam it or force it on there, just nice and easy. And you can see how the bar lines up with the outside of that last ring finger key there. So this will help you get your hand positioned in place as you're learning how to hold this instrument. And in my opinion, once you get the hang of how to hold it, it's smooth sailing from there. So, how to hold the instrument in your hands. For the left hand, what I tell students is to just kind of push their knuckle out like that, and then it's going to sit right on top of their hand, almost like you're holding up a tray or a plate like this. And you're just going to set that flute right there on top of your hand. Your thumb goes on the bigger key on the back here. You don't want to touch that smaller key. So we'll rest on the first knuckle there, and then you're going to put your thumb right here on this key. So your hand is looking like this with that flute right on top. Now for the front here, you have a lot of keys and it's easy to get mixed up. So we have this skinny key up here. You're going to skip down to the one that's pretty close to your thumb there. That's where your first finger goes. Then you skip another key and you put your second finger here. And then your third finger follows right there on the next key. Now most flutes have these keys indented and the other ones aren't indented. So that way it feels different if you have your finger on the wrong key. And you'll leave this pinky off of this pinky key for right now. You'll use that later on. Now for the right hand, just like you would grab a hamburger, you're going to put your hand in a C shape like this. You're going to put it underneath the flute, right about here, in between these two keys. So if you count up 1, 2, 3, it's just kind of underneath that third key there, in between the second and third from the end there. Okay, and then your fingers will just rest right on top. So it should look like that from the side on both hands. Okay. When you put it up to your face, it should look like this. So that should give you a pretty good reference on how to put the flute together and how to hold it so that your fingers are on the right keys. Sometimes it's tricky with this left hand to remember which keys to be on. So if you just remember it's the last 3 round keys from the end there, and it's all 3 in a row. The pinky key is the one that's closest to the end here. So the pinky goes on there, and then your other 3 fingers here. A good thing to practice with the flute is just setting the flute down, picking it up, and getting used to how to hold the thing. Put it down, pick it back up, so that muscle memory kicks in and you just get used to how to hold the flute. Next, you can watch the video on how to make your first sounds so that you are getting all of the fundamentals right with the head joint right up against your lip and doing all the right things, making your first few notes. Hopefully this was helpful, and I'll see you in your next lesson.